In the year 2801, the Grand Galactic Arena roared with excitement. Thousands of alien spectators filled the colossal stadium, their voices echoing across the stars. On the golden sands of the arena stood a single human, small, calm, and silent. His name was Kaito Ren. Wrapped in a black cloak, a simple katana resting on his back, he looked nothing like the armored giants around him. The alien champions laughed loudly, their metallic voices shaking the air. "This is Earth's warrior?" one hissed. "So fragile, so weak." But Kaito didn't respond. He simply watched his opponent, a towering insectoid creature with glowing green armor, its claws dripping with energy. The signal horn blared. The beast lunged forward with terrifying speed. But Kaito vanished. For a breathless second, the crowd went silent. Then, a dull thud echoed. The massive creature froze, its eyes dimmed, and it collapsed in the dust. The arena gasped. The human stood behind it, his blade untouched, his eyes calm. No one had seen him move. Whispers filled the stands. Who was this man from Earth? Kaito turned slowly to face the crowd and said softly, "Never mistake silence for weakness." The galaxy had just witnessed the birth of a legend. The next day, the galactic arena buzzed louder than ever. Across 1,000 star systems, everyone was talking about the mysterious human who defeated a monster in seconds. Some called it luck. Others said it was a trick. The alien media mocked him, showing slow-motion replays and claiming humans used invisible weapons. But Kaito Ren remained silent, his face hidden beneath the shadow of his hood. He waited patiently for the next challenge. When his name was announced again, the crowd erupted with laughter and insults. His new opponent was a four-armed warrior from the planet Gorath, known for breaking metal with his bare hands. As the match began, the alien charged with a roar that shook the ground. Dust rose, the arena trembled, but Kaito didn't move. He stood still until the very last second. Then, in one fluid motion, he disappeared. A flash of movement, a soft sound, then silence. The alien collapsed, unconscious, before even realizing he was struck. Gasps filled the stadium. No blood, no wounds, just precision. Kaito sheathed his blade and whispered, "Strength without control is nothing." The crowd stared in awe. The laughter had stopped. Fear and respect had begun to spread through the galaxy. Rumors spread like wildfire across the galaxy. News channels replayed Kaito's fights, analyzing every frame, trying to uncover his secret. Some called him the Phantom of Earth. Others demanded his disqualification, claiming no human could move like that without cheating. In the Grand Council chambers above the arena, alien leaders argued fiercely. But the judges found no hidden tech, no tricks, only skill. Kaito had won fairly. Still, the mockery continued. In the shadows of the arena's steel corridors, whispers grew darker. A group of alien champions, jealous and afraid, plotted to end the human before the finals. They watched him from afar, studying his every move. Yet Kaito seemed to sense their eyes. He never looked up, never reacted, only smiled faintly, as if he already knew. That night, while others celebrated or trained, Kaito sat alone in his dim quarters, meditating. The hum of distant engines filled the silence. A message appeared on his wrist display. "They are coming for you." He closed the screen calmly and whispered, "Let them come." Outside, heavy footsteps echoed closer. The shadows around Kaito thickened. The hunters didn't know it yet, But they were walking straight into the hands of a true shadow warrior. Long before the Galactic Games, Kyto Ren had lived a hidden life on Earth. When alien fleets first appeared in the skies decades ago, humanity had no chance to fight back. Technology failed against alien weapons, and entire cities fell within hours. But from that darkness, a secret project was born. Project Oni. Only a few humans were chosen, trained not to match alien strength, but to surpass their instincts. They were taught silence, precision, and control. The art of the unseen strike. Kaito was the last survivor of that program. His mentors had called him the Shadow of Earth, a title earned after defeating entire squads in training without leaving a trace. When the war ended and peace returned, Kaito disappeared into legend until Earth called him again. This time, not for war, but for honor. As he stepped into the galactic arena, every memory of his fallen comrades burned inside him. Their faces, their sacrifices, all flowed through his mind like ghosts. He wasn't fighting for glory. He was fighting for the pride of humanity. For every voice that once cried, "Earth will never bow." In his silence, Kaito carried the weight of an entire world. Late that night, the arena slept under dim blue lights, but Kaito stayed awake, sitting cross-legged in silence. He could feel it, the shift in the air, the faint sound of metal feet approaching. 3 alien assassins moved through the shadows toward his room. They were silent, but not silent enough. Kaito's eyes opened slowly, glowing faintly in the dark. Before the first assassin could strike, the lights flickered, and in that instant, everything changed. The sound of battle never came. Only the soft rustle of cloth, a whisper, and then silence. Minutes later, guards rushed in after hearing strange noises. They froze. The 3 assassins lay tied to their own weapons, unconscious, their armor dented but intact. Kaito sat exactly where he had been before, his calm breathing unchanged. When the guards tried to question him, he simply said, "They should have stayed in the light." The next morning, the galaxy awoke to shocking news. 3 elite fighters had been found defeated without a trace of struggle. As Kaito walked toward the arena for the semi-final match, the alien crowd no longer laughed. For the first time, they looked at the human not as prey, but as something far more dangerous. The arena trembled with anticipation as Kaito stepped into the battleground once more. This time, his opponent was no ordinary fighter. It was Zarkel the Titan, a legend among alien champions. Half machine and half beast, Zarkel stood 3 times taller than Kaito, his metal skin glowing with molten lines of energy. The crowd roared, chanting the Titan's name, certain this would be the human's end. Kaito simply adjusted the grip on his katana and bowed. The signal blared, and Zarkel moved like thunder. Each strike shattered the ground, sending waves of dust into the air. Kaito dodged, barely, the blade of his sword cutting through sparks and shadow. But the Titan was fast, too fast. A metal fist caught Kaito in the chest, throwing him hard into the wall. The impact shook the arena. Blood dripped from his lips, yet he smiled. "So this is real power," he whispered, forcing himself to stand. Zarkel laughed, his voice echoing like thunder. "You humans break too easily." Kaito wiped the blood from his chin. "Then I'll stop being human," he said softly. His eyes sharpened, his stance lowered, and for the first time, even the Titan hesitated. The real fight had only just begun. The air around the arena grew heavy, almost electric, as the crowd fell silent. Kaito's breathing slowed. He could feel every vibration, every shift in the Titan's movement. Zarkel raised his massive arms, gathering energy into a burning orb of plasma. The ground cracked beneath him. With a deafening roar, he launched the attack. But Kaito was gone. In a blur of motion, the human became a shadow dancing through the storm. Each movement was precise, each step a whisper. Sparks of light flashed as Kaito struck again and again, targeting weak points in the Titan's armor. Metal shrieked, circuits sparked. The alien roared in rage, swinging wildly, but his blows met only air. Kaito leaped high, his blade glowing faintly under the arena lights. Time seemed to freeze as he landed behind the Titan, his sword striking one final time. A soft sound echoed, almost gentle, and then Zarkel fell to his knees, his core dimming. The giant collapsed, sending a cloud of dust across the arena. For a moment, no one moved. The silence was absolute. Then, the crowd erupted in disbelief and awe. Kaito stood motionless, chest rising slowly, eyes calm. He had just defeated the undefeated. The galaxy would never be the same again. The roar of the crowd echoed across the stars, shaking the very walls of the galactic arena. Millions of alien eyes stared down at the lone human standing in the dust, his black cloak fluttering in the wind. Kaito Ren didn't raise his sword or shout in victory. He simply looked up at the endless stands and bowed. Cameras from every world zoomed in on his face, capturing the calm expression of a man who needed no applause. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than light. Human defeats Titan. Earth victorious. Once, the universe had laughed at Earth's weakness. Now, they spoke of its strength in awe and fear. Alien generals replayed the battle in silence, realizing what they had witnessed was not luck, but mastery. In the quiet of his ship, Kaito sat by the window, watching the stars drift by. His reflection stared back at him, the faint scar on his cheek, a reminder of the fight. He whispered softly, "They mocked what they didn't understand." A message appeared on his console. Next arena, Orion Prime. Kaito smiled faintly. "Let them send whoever they want," he murmured. "The shadows of Earth will always rise." The legend had only begun. Weeks passed, and Kaito Ren's name spread through every corner of the galaxy. On distant planets, children whispered his story like a myth. Some called him the Silent Blade, others the Human Ghost. Yet among the powerful alien empires, his victory brought fear. They couldn't understand how a species once mocked as primitive had produced such a warrior. The Galactic Council held secret meetings, debating if Earth's rise was a threat. Meanwhile, Kaito trained alone on his ship, far from the noise of fame. Each night, he replayed his battles, not to celebrate, but to prepare. He knew peace never lasted long. One evening, a strange signal broke through his comms. The voice was faint, human. "Kaito, do you copy? This is Commander Rhea of Earth Defense. We have a problem." His eyes opened instantly. Rhea continued, "An unknown fleet is heading for Orion Prime. They're not part of the games." Kaito stood slowly, gripping his sword. "So the games were only the beginning," he said quietly. Outside his window, dozens of warships appeared in the void, dark and silent. The Shadow Warrior exhaled softly, his voice calm but cold. "Then it's time for the galaxy to remember why humans should never be underestimated." The void of space shimmered with distant lights as Kaito's ship approached Orion Prime. The once crowded planet, host of the next galactic games, now floated under a blanket of darkness. Smoke drifted from orbiting stations. Communication signals were dead. As Kaito descended through the thick clouds, he saw the destruction. cities burning, alien vessels shattered, and an unknown fleet carving through everything in its path. It wasn't a rebellion. It was extermination. The mysterious attackers bore no flags, only black ships marked with a single red symbol, a circle split by a blade. Kaito landed quietly amid the ruins. The air smelled of ash and fear. Survivors, both alien and human, hid in the shadows, whispering his name like a prayer. From the distance, mechanical footsteps echoed. Massive machines, controlled by unseen enemies, patrolled the streets. Kaito gripped his katana and whispered, "The arena has changed, but the fight is the same." Activating his stealth gear, he vanished into the smoke. In a flash, one mech collapsed silently, its circuits sliced apart. Another followed. The resistance had begun. High above the planet, the mysterious fleet watched, unaware that the legend they feared most had already arrived. The shadow of Earth was hunting once again.